Commission meeting. Please stand and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Today's meeting was noticed in compliance with the South Carolina Freedom of Information Act. This commission acts in review and recommending capacity for comprehensive plan amendments, text amendments to the Charleston County Zoning and Land Development Regulations Ordinance, rezonings, and plan developments. The commission has decision-making authority on road name change requests, public project reviews, appeal of administrative decisions on final plats and subdivision matters, as well as other matters pursuant to Chapter 29, Title 6, Section 6-29-340 of the Code of Laws of South Carolina as amended. If you wish to speak at today's meeting, please fill out the sign-in sheet by the door. My name is Pete Pilatos. I'm Vice Chair of the Planning Commission. To my right, we have Luke Morris, Gary Lassane, and Adam McConnell. To my left, we have Warwick Jones and Logan Davis. Also seated to my right is Commission Attorney Mark Bell, and seated to my left is Joel Evans, Director of Zoning and Planning. Joel, I'll ask you to introduce your staff in attendance.
Sure. Andrea Melisic-White, the Deputy Director. Marche Miller, she'll be presenting today, as well as Wynn Carlisle. Stephanie Ondo is here. She will be taking the votes. Also, we have Kyle Foster and our arborist, and Monica Eustace as well. And is someone from, Chris Wanamaker from Public Works, not in my department, but he's here for some of the Zeldar amendments, yes.
Thank you, Joel. I would like to remind you that in order to get a good recording of the meeting for the minutes, please speak loudly and clearly into your microphones, and please do not talk over one another. The first item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from the June 9, 2025 meeting. Is there a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second.
All right. Call the roll, please.
Commissioner Davis?
Aye.
Commissioner Lassane?
Aye.
Commissioner Jones?
Aye.
Commissioner McConnell?
Aye.
Commissioner Morris?
Aye.
Vice Chair Pilatos?
Aye.
The ayes have it.
Thank you. The next item on the agenda is ACP-06-25-00125 and ZLDR-06-25-00134, a request to amend map 3.1.7.A, Johns Island Maybank Highway Corridor Overlay Zoning District, and map 3.1.7.B, Johns Island Maybank Highway Corridor Overlay Zoning District Infrastructure and Connectivity Map of the Comprehensive Plan, and map 5.3, Johns Island Maybank Highway Corridor Overlay Zoning District, and map 5.3.A, Johns Island Maybank Highway Corridor Overlay Zoning District Infrastructure and Connectivity Map of the ZLDR to change the zoning designation of TMS number 313-00-00-179 from the limited commercial designation to the mixed-use designation. I believe Wynn Carlisle is going to make the presentation. Wynn?
Yes, sir. Thank you. And good afternoon, Commissioners. Like it was just said, this request is Comp Plan Amendment 06-25-00125 and Zeldar Amendment 06-25-00134 to change the designation of tax map number 313-00-00-179 from limited to commercial to mixed use designation within the Johns Island Maybank Highway Corridor Overlay District. So to go over the zoning history of the property, in the 90s, the subject property had a low-density residential zoning, which continued in the 2000s after it was made part of the Maybank Highway Corridor Overlay Zoning District. In March of 2021, the Johns Island Maybank Highway Corridor Overlay Zoning District was adopted, and the property was designated limited commercial within it. So as far as that designation, limited commercial is intended for lower intensity commercial and residential uses than the mixed use designation, and for limited commercial to serve as a transition to the mixed-use node, which the mixed use has 3 nodes within the total overlay district. Mixed use allows for a higher density commercial and residential uses. It looks to accommodate different types of uses to facilitate alternative modes of transportation, and includes having residential units above non-residential space, which is a situation cited by the applicant as one of the things they're interested in. And so if the council approved the request for the change in designation, all the uses that are allowed in the mixed use designation will be available for the property. These include multifamily dwellings, hotel, motel use, parking garage, gasoline service station, wholesale sales, et cetera. And then another change would be to the density allowed on the property. Currently, 6 dwelling units per acre are allowed. With the change in designation, it would go up to 8 dwelling units. And also, if there was a 50-foot right-of-way dedication to the city of Charleston, it would up the allowed density under the current designation up to 12 units per acre, and then up to 19 dwelling units per acre if it was changed to mixed use. This is the location of the subject property within the county as a whole. And the future land use designation of the properties is the overlay district as they exist now. And this is the proposed, this is the subject property within the current overlay zoning district map. And then this is the proposed comp plan amendment to the overlay corridor map, changing, the request being to change to the mixed use designation. And then this is a second map, which is the connectivity map where the city, you can kind of, it's difficult to see, but the dotted lines in yellow within the overlay district are kind of proposed connective roads within the overlay district that the city might be interested at some point in doing. And this is the comp plan, proposed comp plan amendment to that map, the connectivity map. And so the current zoning within the overlay district has frontage on Cane/Slash Road, contains a single-family residence. To the west, there are a number of mobile homes and single-family residences on Bluebird Road, and then across the street, across Cane/Slash, again, single-family residences and mobile homes zoned R4. And then to the rear of the subject property are 2 properties within the overlay district with that mixed use zoning designation. And this is the current overlay zoning district map with the limited commercial designation for the subject property. And this is the proposed amendment to the zoning district, the Zeldar map for the change in designation. And then a change to the connectivity map in the overlay district for that change right here. For the flood zone for the parcel, it's not in a flood zone. It's in the X zone. This is an aerial view to the north and to the south. These are site photos of the subject property. And then across Cane/Slash Road, properties to the north and west. This is a comparison of land uses between the current designation of limited commercial and the proposed mixed-use district designation. As you can see in bold, some of those uses allowed in mixed use, I mentioned earlier, multifamily, hotel, motel, parking garage, gas station, manufacturing and production. So the criteria for approving comprehensive plan amendments. And you need to meet one of the criteria for comp plan amendments. The applicant responded to criterion C, basically talking about the development in the surrounding area, transitioning to mixed use. And then as staff for the comp plan amendment, proposed amendment, we looked at criterion D as having may been met. The comp plan has an overarching theme, number 6, which emphasizes growth to occur within the urban growth boundary where infrastructure and services are already in place. Also, the comp plan recognizes the need for mixed-use development and a variety of housing types that are affordable and located near existing infrastructure. So since criteria C and D may have been met, staff recommends approval. For the text amendment, proposed text amendment, the applicant responded to the criteria in each case. And our staff recommendation, if the comp plan amendment is approved, we recommend approving the Zeldar text amendment as well. For public input, we had 193 comments in opposition, 3 in support. 4 general comments were received as of Friday. And then today, the applicant has supplied 26 letters in support, which was given to us before the meeting. And the case was noticed as required. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Wynn. We appreciate the report. Are there any questions for staff from commission members? Mr. Morris?
Can you explain the right-of-way dedication for the city?
Yeah, so basically, they would have to, the property owner would have to dedicate 50 feet, I'm assuming to be part of one of these connectivity roads within the overlay district. Currently, it does not have that. Dedication's not taken place. So of course, that would have to occur to get that bonus density.
So it would likely be on the north portion of the property? It looked like that's where connectivity road
Yeah,
is.
when, I'll bring up that map. Let's see. So yeah, here's the connectivity map. And like you said, on the north side, there is, it looks like it's a little above where the property lines meet, but so I don't know if, I just don't know if that would be intersecting with the property.
It would just be like a conversation with the city, I would assume.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any, Mr. McConnell?
Yeah, just going back to when the original overlay was established, were there concessions made at the time to people on Kane/Slash Road for why we would not have extended that mixed-use overlay district down to that roadway? Was that a consideration at the time, or was it just, we just kind of drew some lines arbitrarily on a map? I'm just kind of curious.
I think if I remember, it's been a while, and that was during COVID, so that made it seem even longer ago. But I think mainly we kept it at the frontage of Maybank Highway, and that was sort of where we drew the line, because I believe that most of those parcels have frontage along Maybank Highway and River Road.
Okay.
Mr. Davis?
Where is the medical facility going that I think they referenced in the package that would be nearby?
Yeah, so I looked the other day. I believe it's kind of right here where Zelasco is. Oh, here it is, Zelasco. So that would be the Trident facility, and I think there is they're going to have an emergency room on Maybank Highway, I believe, and then eventually develop a full hospital that would go back to Cane Slash. And then also MUSC, I know, is developing something as well, kind of right by there, where the old Berkeley Co-op building is on Maybank Highway.
But there's no plans for a medical facility on Cane Slash at this time?
I mean, you know, my understanding with the Trident facilities, eventually a hospital will be there, like connecting to Cane Slash, but I don't know when that's going to take place.
Any other questions? Okay. We will now hear public comments. Each speaker will be limited to 2 minutes. We ask that you please state your name and address before giving your comments.
Yes, he's one of the folks that signed up. Yeah. We'll just go through the list as they signed up. The applicant was the first one, Philip Simmons.
Yeah, hi, my name is Philip Simmons. I live at 3670 Old Charleston Road on Johns Island. My family owns a property at 2856 Cane Slash Road. As you know, it's a small parcel, only 2.39 acres. Our family has called Johns Island home for almost 90 years, and we still live on the island today. So any changes to the community, we want to be positive. Our whole goal, since it's 2 minutes, is we're trying to get in front of the development so we have some flexibility. So if we do decide to develop, then we have the flexibility to putting something in that's got some residential and commercial use to help the community with some small, like coffee shops or service situations. So people in the community can use that area without having to travel all the way off the island and back on. So that is why we're trying to go ahead and see if we can get this rezoned. How much?
Thank you. Any questions for the applicant? Mr. Morris?
Is there any reason that y'all haven't looked into annexing into the city?
No, most of our properties, we have multiple properties are in Charleston County, and I mean, technically, we just like Charleston County.
Just familiarity with it, I got you. Okay.
Mr. Davis?
Is there, I'm looking at the comparison between the limited commercial and the mixed use. Is there something that you have been prohibited from doing under the limited commercial?
I'm sorry, we have no
Good.
plans immediately to do anything, but when the hospital comes in and there's more needs for the area, we thought maybe a commercial with a residential dwelling on top, so maybe we can house some of the hospital workers and have convenient, small businesses for the local community.
Mr. Morris?
This may be a bit out of order, it's not necessarily for the applicant, but mixed use or the combination of uses can happen within the limited commercial district, right?
That is correct, yeah. So single-family detached is allowed. I'm just going through the list. Duplex, triplex, fourplex, and single-family attached is allowed. And a variety of commercial is allowed. So the big difference is the multifamily part. From what I'm hearing, the description, it may be difficult to have that commercial on the first floor and then residential above, and that kind of multifamily layout. So you could have an alternative housing types with commercial, but it wouldn't be a multifamily stacked, like apartment or condo building. Yeah.
Just some clarity on that. Could you, so even if it was a small fourplex above a storefront, that would not be allowable under limited commercial? Or are we talking bigger density than that? I'm just kind of curious.
Yeah, we have not, I mean, I don't know that our definition of fourplex contemplates it being a commercial on the lower level. It's more of like an all siloed residential structure, right?
Thank you.
Is that something they could get a variance for if they wanted to try that in the future?
You can't get a variance for a use type thing like that, so I don't think so, no.
Well, the use is there, I think, right? I'm talking about the stacking.
Right, yeah. I think the form of it, like I said, in our definitions of those duplex, triplex, and fourplex doesn't necessarily contemplate that. We've never had that request, so I'd have to look into that to see how that would be utilized. And normally that's done in our commercial zoning districts where multifamily is allowed.
Mr. Lasane?
Thanks. This would probably be more a question for staff, but if this property were to be annexed into the city, in that same designation area right now, what would its current zoning be? Would it just be a limited business? Or would they be able to annex in at a more density, heightened zoning district due to the area right now and what's around if they were in the city of Charleston?
I'll try to answer it, but the municipalities can annex in a piece of property and attach whatever zoning that they choose to. So that would be up to the decision makers with the city if there was a request for the annexation.
Okay.
So that was my short answer. So
Yeah.
I don't know what the city would attach zoning wise to this property if there was a request to annex it.
Okay, so theoretically, they could apply for a PUD or come in as a mixed use. I know the city does have some properties in that area that currently do allow multifamily and hotels, motels. I think the hotels or the motels are capped at like 20 rooms or something like that, and that may be under I think maybe a general commercial zoning or something like that right now.
Could be, yes.
Any other questions? Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Next speaker,
Peter Rubino?
Ms.
No, she didn't check to
Okay.
speak. Yes. I think she's with them.
Hello, my name is Peter Rubino. I live at 3009 Tugelo Street. It's about a mile from the subject property. I'm also speaking on behalf of the Johns Island Task Force and the Johns Island Council, who both oppose this upzoning. The property is about a half a mile to one of the biggest traffic issue intersections that we have on Johns Island, being River Road and Maybank Highway. The BCD's COG has said our level of service are rated at F or worse, and they don't really have a rating lower than F. We cannot support additional residential development that is being upzoned by as much as 60% to our already overwhelmed infrastructure. We should not even start looking at any upzoning until the infrastructure level of service gets to at least an E, which is still pretty horrible. We need infrastructure help first, like the second lane off of Maybank Highway and the realignment of Cane/Road to the southern Pitchfork to help reduce some of that impact at River and Maybank. Changes to the Maybank Highway Corridor Overlay Zoning District, which involved the county council or county staff and a lot of community engagement and input to allow spot zoning changes, undoes some of that work that was approved and agreed on. Limited commercial to mixed use allows apartments or hotel development. Once granted, it goes with the parcel if the current owners decide to sell. Then what stops other parcel owners to also request additional upzoning once one's been approved? The developers talk about a walkable mixed-use development, but the parcel is on a 2-lane country road and a barely 2-lane dirt road, neither of which have sidewalks or bike lanes. Current zoning doesn't stop the development, it just limits it and must follow what the current zoning has already been approved. Thank you.
Thank you.
Susan Kershaw?
Good afternoon. My name's Susan Kershaw. I live at 3605 Berry Hill Road, just down the island a little bit. I would like you guys to recommend disapproval for this for two main reasons. A lot of time and effort and compromises went into establishing this overlay district, and we should have a high bar to overrule what was agreed upon, I think, 4 years ago. This is a case which seems to not have a problem it wants to solve. They don't know what they want to put on it yet, and they don't know when they're going to do it. And so it seems like this can wait until we have more information so that we can make a better decision about whether to overrule all of the work that went into that overlay district. Second reason is the traffic. We have to allow a certain amount of development on Johns Island. That's all within the current zoning. But we don't have to allow people to upzone and put more density on the island until we have approval, at least approval, for ways off the island, and preferably until we have actually solved the problem of us all getting off the island before we approve more density. Thank you.
Thank you.
And the last speaker that signed up, Tori Sanders.
My name is Tori Sanders. I serve as the Communities and Transportation Project Manager for the Coastal Conservation League at 131 Spring Street. Thank you for the opportunity to address the Commission. The increase in density requested by the applicant feels significant in an area where infrastructure is still struggling to catch up with development. The current zoning already allows for plenty of density and flexibility of use that would be compatible with the surrounding area. Granting this rezoning could also set a precedent. Many of the nearby parcels that are also designated as limited commercial could request an upzoning to mixed use as well. We recognize that this parcel exists within the urban growth boundary and on higher ground, but even with the UGB, even within the UGB, not every parcel needs to be mixed use, especially on Johns Island. This will further impact the rural character that Johns Islanders are trying desperately to hold on to. The limited commercial parcels were zoned in such a way for that reason. While the applicant has stated there is no development plan for years to come, we have no way to guarantee that. Once this rezoning is permitted, there is nothing that says they must wait to construct their mixed-use development until the surrounding public infrastructure has been deemed sufficient enough to accommodate it. The surrounding parcels are single-family residences and a low-impact tree business. A mixed-use development located here at the present time does not make sense or seem compatible. At the current time, neither Bluebird Road nor Cane/Road can accommodate this type of density, and adding additional pressures on the intersection of Maybank Highway and River Road feels irresponsible. Thank you for your time and consideration of our concerns. We respectfully ask that this rezoning be denied at the present time. Thank you.
Thank you.
And that was it.
Okay.
Yep.
This case is now closed for public comment. Is there a motion and a second from the commission?
I'd like to make a motion.
Okay.
My motion would be to approve the applicant. Staff has done a thorough job in vetting and ensuring that the criteria has been met, and the criteria has been met to allow the applicant to move forward with the rezone. So I would put forth the motion to approve.
Okay. Is there a second? Okay, there's no second, so that motion fails.
So disapprove.
Wait,
Okay.
Didn't you second? Did you just second or no?
No, I'm not seconding.
No, did he? Did
There's
you?
no second.
I'll second. If we need a second, I'll second for discussion.
Okay. So there's a motion to approve, and Mr. McConnell seconds the motion. Okay. Any discussion? Mr. Jones?
There's no doubt about it that no doubt about it. We've had 190 plus responses to the request, all of which were negative, and a handful that were for it. The comprehensive plan was formed with the discussion, big discussion with the residents of Johns Island, and we saw that in the recently published comprehensive plan. We have to take notice of what the residents say of the island, and the residents, the 190 of them, is a fair number who are opposed to this plan, and I don't think that they can be ignored. I think also that the comments of the Johns Island Task Force, Coastal Conservation League, about the inadequacy of the infrastructure is very relevant. And also the comment that is made that this is a precedent, so other applicants could be made to change the rezoning, adding more pressure to the infrastructure. I could go on, but we've all seen the comments from the residents, which makes sense, and I certainly would oppose this rezoning.
Mr. Davis?
I'm also in opposition to mixed use here, and I do think that there was actually a lot of forethought in 2021 when they did this overlay district. If you look at what is allowed under the existing commercial, limited commercial, that is pretty heavy density for this Kane/Road back in 2021, and I think going forward for a number of years. And so if the corner of River Road has not even been developed commercial, that's more appropriate, and I'm not saying it should be, but that's even more appropriate for hotel, gas station, these things that cannot fit in the box of limited commercial but do fit in mixed use. How are we going to already work our way up towards the neighborhoods and give this higher density? So I'll be voting in opposition.
Mr. Hussain?
Yeah, I'd like to really just kind of put forth the thought process of how difficult it is to base some of our decisions on retrospect. Because honestly, in retrospect, traffic is a concern. But voters, way more than 193, had opportunities to make changes that would have allowed traffic to be better in Johns Island. Voters voted against those changes that would have allowed these things to occur. So to utilize 193 number of people that are now saying they don't want it when they could have made things better before just doesn't feel fair to a property owner that has actually met the criteria as listed in our ZLDR. To go against that is to have me question, what's it there for?
Mr. Morris?
So I do want to, you mentioned criteria in the ZLDR. I believe that the argument that is being put forth was that the comprehensive plan is not accurate because it didn't foresee the growth that was needed. And so they're saying that this property is too lowly zoned for the growth that Johns Island has seen, correct? That the argument from the applicant is essentially that the comprehensive, because this would require an amendment to the comprehensive plan. So the argument is that the limited commercial use in the ZLDR is just outdated for the current growth that the island has seen.
Right, they're using examples of some of the developments that have occurred surrounding it, yes.
And to that end, I could also argue that the comprehensive plan isn't incorrect because the comprehensive plan says that there should be a gradation of decreased density down to the urban growth boundary. So I don't know if it's necessarily that the criteria were met or not met. And obviously staff says may have been met because they're not going to be the final arbiters and we're just giving a recommendation because we're not either. So to that end, I am appreciative that the applicant pointed out it seems like a mistake in the ZLDR to not have some kind of allowance for mixed use in smaller or less dense zoning applications, like let's say it was looking like a single-family residence, like a 2,500 square foot building with residential on the second floor, commercial on the bottom floor. That would be a mixed-use building, but it would be a light impact mixed-use building. I think there's something that we can look at with that. But to that end, I believe that I would be in opposition to the current motion for the reason that, well, one, some of the entitlements in the mixed-use district, such as a hotel, motel, gas station, I know that that's a conditional use, but these are entitlements that would carry with the property regardless of whether the applicant provides them or not. So he could sell them to someone, and then you get something that he may not have wanted and the community may not want. And honestly, I feel like a more aggressive use for the site, maybe annexing into the city, would be a better option, or subdividing the lots to become more of that neighborhood feel. Because again, I think that, like, let's say at the corner of Kane Slash and the road to the south of it, you could have like a 2,000 square foot building with residential above and commercial below. But I think that the mixed use zoning would turn into something much larger and a bit out of scale for that. So that's why I'm going to have to be in opposition.
Thank you. Mr. Jones?
I just want to take issue that was made by the Commissioner, that the members of Johns Island voted against infrastructure. Are we referring to I-26, the extension? I don't think any Johns Islander has opposed the Southern Pitchfork, which has been there proposed for probably about 15 years. I think they're wanting it. I think they want more infrastructure there. I don't think that they're opposed to it. I don't think they ever were able to vote for I think they was expected, and it was indicated to be provided by council. It never happened.
Any other comments? Mr. McConnell?
This is my new pitch. Regionally, we have a problem, right? We have limited land area to develop, and we have a tremendous influx of population coming to this region. It's anticipated that 270,000 more people will move to the Charleston region in the next 20 years. That's equivalent to the amount of people who have moved here in the last 20 years. It's equivalent to the same population of North Charleston and South Charleston combined, a complete replacement. We know that doing things the way we've been doing things, we know what that leads to. It leads to unsustainable housing price inflation. It leads to the displacement, mostly of vulnerable populations and poor people. You look at the peninsula that used to be 60, 50% African American is now maybe 20, maybe 12. That's happening all over. We are eliminating the opportunities for people and families to stay in this community long term as they're being replaced by people who are coming from off. My take on that is that if there are areas which are on high ground and can accommodate some growth, I will consistently be supporting of that if it's within the urban growth boundary. We cannot both simultaneously protect the urban growth boundary and say no development outside of that, and then say no development within it as well. Those are not sustainable policies any longer. We have to find a better way forward. So I will be supporting this under that understanding. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? Okay, if there's no further discussion, it's time for a vote.
Commissioner Davis?
And just to clarify, this is a vote in opposition, correct?
This is a vote in support
Oh, it's in support.
of staff's recommendation. So if you are in opposition, you would vote against it.
Nay.
If you were in support of it, you would vote in the affirmative.
Nay.
Commissioner Lassane?
I vote for.
Commissioner Jones?
Nay.
Commissioner McConnell?
Aye.
Commissioner Morris?
Nay.
Vice Chair Pilatos?
Nay.
The motion failed.
County Council will hear this request at their public hearing on August 26, 2025 at 6:30 PM in council chambers.
Go ahead, Andrew.
So if the motion failed, do we need a motion in the opposite? And just to
Right.
remind the commission, we haven't run into this for a long time because we haven't been down this many members, but we do need a supermajority, so we need at least 5 folks to
This is
vote
a-
one way or the other
This is
according to
a
the
unique
ordinance.
topic in the ordinance and rules of procedure. A majority vote of the entire membership is required to approve or disapprove a comp plan amendment. So there needs to be 5 in one direction or the other, even though we don't have a full quorum of 9 people.
It says it's going to pass it, right? But if it doesn't make it clear, then it fails. If you need 5 in opposition, you probably need a
Mr. Bell?
Commission members, if I'm understanding the planning staff and the rules correctly, then the current rule is that if we are making changes to the comp plan, then that is what requires the majority votes and the entire body, which is then the 5 votes. And here we have 2 requests. We have a comp plan amendment and a map amendment, which is triggering the majority vote. And then regarding then the other matter, and the motion on the floor did fail, and so right now, there is no recommendation from this body, and so planning staff is requesting the body make a recommendation to go to council.
Yeah. I think that both the text amendment and the comp plan requires 5, but yes. For the motion to move forward, you would need the 5, but you don't need 5 if it's not going to change. You have 5 people, more than 5 people sitting here to vote. So you have 5 members, but to move forward, you need 5. But you don't have to have 5 for it to not move forward. Right.
Okay.
So we're good.
Yes.
So it's failed.
Yes.
Okay. Will County Council still hear it?
Yes. It takes a 5 supermajority to amend the comp plan from a recommendation point of view. Did I get all that straight?
Yeah, I'm not sure what kind of recommendation would go to council. Just no recommendation then?
We'll get with legal about that. Yeah.
Okay. I believe County Council will hear this request at their public hearing on August 26, 2025 at 6:30 PM in council chambers. And again at their September 11, 2025 Planning and Public Works Committee meeting at 5 PM. The request must then undergo 3 readings for approval at council's discretion. The next item on the agenda is ZREZ-06-25-00163, a request to rezone TMS numbers 310-06-00-018 and -132 from the neighborhood commercial zoning district to the community commercial zoning district. Before we ask staff to present, it's my understanding that the applicant wishes to request a deferral. Is that accurate?
Yes, sir. My name is Jacob Allen. I'm an attorney with Maynard Nexon, and we're representing the applicant in this project. And as mentioned, yes, we were requesting a deferral to next month's meeting on August 11th.
All right. Thank you. So staff is prepared to give a presentation. Do we want, for the benefit of the commission, to hear that now or to wait until the applicant brings that back? Is there any preference one way or the other?
Would there be any updates to the presentation when he comes back in a month? Or would it be the same presentation that we'd be seeing?
We don't know that.
Yeah,
I think the applicant wants to regroup and.
I would prefer to wait.
Okay.
Same.
Okay. So I believe we need a motion and a second for deferral.
Move to defer.
Okay. We have a
Second.
Okay. It's called, so we've got a motion to defer.
I made
Mr. Jones, and the second was
I think I may.
Mr. Davis.
Okay. Commissioner Davis?
Aye.
Commissioner Lassane?
Aye.
Commissioner Jones?
Aye.
Commissioner McConnell?
Aye.
Commissioner Morris?
Aye.
Vice Chair Pilatos?
Aye.
The ayes have it.
Thank you. The next items on the agenda are proposed amendments to the zoning and land development regulations ordinance. I believe Mr. Carlisle will discuss.
And good afternoon again. So these are proposed amendments to the zoning ordinance, and they're intended to implement the comp plan, reduce the BZA caseload, and improve resilience and sustainability and be consistent with adjacent jurisdictions. And so the first amendments, proposed amendments, basically just distinguish between clearing and grubbing activities. Just basically adding, as you can see, adding or, because it is two different, clearing is clearing things above the surface, grubbing is when you start dealing with stuff kind of in the soil. So this is just to help clarify that, make it more understandable. And as far as enforcing code and whatnot as well, helps with that. Going on to the next proposed amendment. So this amendment and the next amendment, they simplify grand tree violation and mitigation fees and prohibit variances for violation mitigation fees. So basically saying you can't ask for a variance for the mitigation fees, and then this proposed amendment specifies the amount, and that was arrived at by kind of looking at the surrounding jurisdictions, what they're doing. That was where the number came up of the 250 per inch. Going on to the next, this changed for setbacks would prohibit structural and non-structural fill material in setbacks unless approved by the Public Works Director. This is one of the amendments kind of working with Public Works that we're interested in. Going on to the next. So 8.4.9, it changes the requirements for the approval of road and drainage plans to occur before the approval of preliminary plats and prohibited permanent best management practices such as ponds and underground storage systems for roads to be accepted by the county. And then the following one, 8.52, will require as-built surveys and stormwater permanent maintenance covenants prior to final plat approval. So 9.2.1.c, so this amends the definition of tree removal to require BZA approval for healthy branches, limbs, and/or stems with a DBH of 8 inches or greater that originate from below 4.5 feet from ground level. And 9.2.4.e, these changes would allow administrative approval of grand tree encroachment up to 35% with an approved arborist treatment plan. So it also includes adding the definition of a tree preservation plan to Chapter 12. The next is to correct the term caliper to diameter. My understanding is that caliper refers to nursery trees, while diameter at breast height is used for trees in the wild, as it were. So this kind of corrects that, provides greater specificity. And then this is adding a definition for temporary driveway. And the public input received were basically one comment for each of these that are listed, either in support or opposition. And this was noticed as required. And then we have Kyle Foster here for any questions on the tree ordinances, and Chris Wanamaker for anything with Public Works. And I'd happy to answer any questions as well.
Thank you, Wynn. We appreciate the report. Take questions for staff. Mr. McConnell.
Quick question, going back to the fill and setbacks, I guess that's going to be case by case. That's going to require you to review every site plan. Are you already doing that with your staff as part of your MS4 permitting and so forth?
So we already review every single site plan, whether it's garage, living space, shed, or anything that comes through. As y'all know, we've taken a pretty strategic stance to try and get the fill where you drive down Fenwick Hills Road. There's a house 5 feet higher than one side, so we've come a long way. Currently, fill within setback is not explicitly allowed, nor is explicitly not allowed. So we just made sure that we're very clear on it. We were already implementing no fill in 5 foot for not doing this thing. People that are being impacted next door, so this is just verified.
Describe a situation where you may allow fill.
Sure, like a driveway, you need 3 inches of fill, put the driveway properly in, be able to grade, put a cover on a pipe, or for some reason, you never control.
Permitting process. Thank you.
Any other questions? Mr. Davis?
Under 9.2.1 C, tree removal, the text that was added there, do we already have something in place specifically with regards that we're adding this limitation on removal of branches, limbs, or stems with a DBH of 8 inches or greater?
So currently we do not. And the reason why the 8 inches there is cited is because trees of 8 inches and more are counted towards the grand total of the tree if it has several trunks. If one's below 8 inches, that tree's not, that trunk isn't counted as part of the grand total of the size of the tree. This ordinance in particular came about because a builder was going to put a house on property, and one of the trees had a branch off of it that was 8 inches in diameter, and when added up with the larger trunk, it was a grand tree. But that one 8-inch branch did not constitute more than a quarter of the canopy, and so they were able to remove that branch, thus making the tree not a grand tree. And then at that point, they could have it removed or encroached into. At that point, it's not grand. So it's not a very common thing I run into, but I imagine that this might occur more often in the future.
It's for the multi-trunk trees. It's not for the single. So our definition of a multi-trunk tree is all of the stems of that tree, of that base that comes off 8 inches or more. And they all get added up when it's a multi-trunk tree. Yeah.
As of right now, how is the ordinance stated for, let's say going in and doing some pruning?
As it states now,
like what diameter can I prune without?
There's no mention of specific diameters, just that you can't remove more than a quarter of the leaf surface of the tree. But if that one trunk didn't constitute more than a quarter, you could legally take off that branch, even though it was added up to the grand total of the tree.
Okay.
That's just for an area that's affecting the height at which you measure the tree.
Right, 4.5 feet below.
Right.
Yeah.
That 4.5 foot, there's more than that one stem you have together.
Right. Okay. Any other questions? Okay. I don't believe we've had any public comment for this, and no one signed up.
No one signed up, which is very strange.
Okay.
But
So,
good.
On these changes, is there a motion and a second from the commission?
Move for approval.
Okay, we have a
Second.
motion to approve and a second. there any discussion from commission members? Okay, let's call the roll.
Commissioner Davis?
Aye.
Commissioner Hussein?
Aye.
Commissioner Jones?
Aye.
Commissioner McConnell?
Aye.
Commissioner Morris?
Aye.
Vice Chair Pilatos?
Aye.
The ayes have it.
Thank you. County Council will hear this request at their public hearing on August 26, 2025 at 6:30 PM in council chambers. And again at their September 11, 2025 Planning and Public Works Committee meeting at 5 PM. The request must then undergo 3 readings for approval at council's discretion. The last item on the agenda is the chair's remarks, which I have none. If there's no further business, this meeting of the Charleston County Planning Commission stands adjourned. The Planning Commission will hold its next regularly scheduled meeting on Monday, August 11, 2025, beginning at 2 PM in council chambers. Thank you.